Hey, Adam Boatman here with the Breaking the Bad blog. Week 2's assignment for CS106A, Stanford's program methodology course. This course this week was to listen to lecture 3 and do assignments 3 and 4. Right below me I have the notes. If I'm looking down, don't try to figure out what I'm looking at. It's right here. All the notes I take on the lectures I watch. With this week's lecture is basically common errors you're going to run into with Carroll, one being infinite loops, and what do you do to get out of those. And then also, which I found myself in the other day as well, and then off by one bug, or OBOBs, if you may. I actually found myself, I'm trying to think what program it was. I think it was the column program where I was off by one bug, or one byte, and it was bugging me. So, then also leaving comments in the code you write, preconditions and post-conditions, why that's good to do that. Obviously, it's good to do so that not only when you go back to look at your code, you know exactly what your thoughts were when you wrote it, and then also if someone else goes back to correct your code, they know exactly what's going on and what you expected that to do. So then decompositions, breaking down the problems in order of operations, stepwise refinement, obviously the top-down design, developing the topmost step, what problem you're going to solve, and breaking it down further and further until you have the very bottom step. So everything, works its way up, and then also the bottom-up design, which my mind is programmed to do. What's it going to take to get there? How can I put those pieces together? Obviously, judging by the lecture, that's incorrect thought process for a programmer. I have been in turmoil attempting to change my thought process to do top-down design. So I think I'm getting it. It's going to take some practice. I'm not sure if that's just the way most people are trained to think. That's how I'm, start at the bottom, or what's going to take me, what do I need to do, what do I need to put together to get to that point, to achieve that goal, instead of what's the goal, let's put these things together, and what's breaking down the smallest part. Besides that, there's a little basic approach to algorithms, and then we went over a Carroll cleanup program. So after that, I went to assignments 3 and 4. I'm going to break over to screen snapshot and kind of show you what I did with those. Alright, so this is a screen snapshot of the 2 assignments I had. One was the checkerboard, the other one was find the midpoint. With the checkerboard, it was basically, you had the Carroll world. Using Carroll the robot, here's the assignment that I had to go to. Week 2. Show you exactly what it is I had to do. Let's go over here to the course website. Scroll down here. That is the assignment 3. You get a blank board from there, and this is assignment 4. Go back to the program, the code I wrote. With this one is basically broken down into place rows, and then turn around, and then turn around facing west and turn around facing east. Had a few problems with it. One being, I'll kind of show you where I was at with the program, but very interesting program. It made me use my brain a little bit more than I actually wanted to, but just pretty interesting. This is me, this place row method. That's the method regarding the placing of the row. Go ahead and start the program now. Checkerboard. Give it a minute. Let the world load. And away goes Carol. I had a few problems with this one where Carol was able to go back and forth. I got him to all the way up to the top of the screen without placing beepers. Then finally, when the beepers were placed, he would just stop on the first row. So I figured out there's a bug in that. So I had kind of a problem with that one. With this one, I rewrote, thought about this program, tried to do my top-down design, and I had some problems. I had some real problems with this one. Did a little research on the internet because I needed help. Figured out my process was wrong, my thought process was wrong, which is okay. None of us can always be right. God knows I'm not always right. It's very few times that I'm really right. So, discovered that my whole thought process was wrong, so I rewrote for endless hours in the night. There's one night I actually was up till 5 o'clock in the morning attempting to write this code, and finally found this code online, copy pasted, put it in, and it worked out much better for me. It was more efficient. I figured out why it was more efficient, just for the fact that it was taking one beeper from the east, bringing it in one position to the west, and the west beeper bringing it one position to the west and bringing it one more position to the east. So roughly they were coming together. And finally you'd have one in the middle, as long as you were in a negative street world. You have your streets and your rows, or your streets and avenues. So, but you had to start out by putting the beepers down, one beeper on each end. You come together and bring them together, and then the main point is the solving factor of this code was to detect beepers, which breaks down, brings it all together, the entire program. We'll go ahead and run this, show you how it works, show you that it does fine in the middle. Go ahead and start the program. Slow it down a little bit. You'll see moves, places beeper, turns around, moves, places beeper, picks it up, moves, and goes all the way in to scan, and there you go. You have found the middle. So basically, like I said, I did have a lot of problems with this code. This code was not mine that was used in this. I just want to make that very clear that I'm not attempting to steal someone's code. That's basically it. Have a good one. Alright, so that was assignments 3 and 4 of Carol the Robot. That assignment 4 was, I like problem solving. I do thoroughly enjoy that, but man, that was a test. That made me had to actually use my brain a little bit more than I thought it would. So I need to work on that a little bit further. The good thing was I didn't give up. I didn't want to give up, and I fought myself to even go look for help online. But at the end of the day, I needed the help. Great thing about the internet is it's that knowledge is out there, and I wasn't the first person to run into that problem, and I wasn't, based on all the information I found on Google, I'm not the only one that had problems with that assignment, and I'm also not the first to ever take that assignment. A lot of people have posted that, so yeah, it was very difficult for me. But on the other hand, with assignment 3, the fact that I could get Carol all the way up to the end position, and then from there I wrote in the method of placing the beepers, and then I had a problem with the beeper placement. That allowed me to realize that I had a bug in my system and I needed to debug my system and find out. I realized that the problem with the code was actually in the beeper placing. So the problem solving or troubleshooting of that, the debugging, if you may, I was able to figure out what was going on, what was wrong with it, and where I had gone wrong in my code writing. So, moving on, I've got the next assignments coming up, which I'll start today. Let me show what I have to do. What's coming up next? So next week, I have to complete assignment 1. And watch lectures 4 and 5. So basically that was my week. Not really. I'm about 2 to 3 days ahead. That's about it. I actually did all this stuff on Sunday. It's Tuesday right now, and I'm getting it all uploaded. So I'm kind of ahead of schedule right now. So stay posted. More to come. And yeah, see you later.